You know, there's sexual monogamy is the practice of having sex only with one mate at a time. For example, pairs that last only one mating season. Social monogamy is when animals form pairs to mate and raise offspring but still have extra pair copulations. Genetic monogamy occurs when a female's offsprings are sired by only one father. Therefore, his point is unraveled, seeing as how it's a generalized point without referencing the specifics of the factors involved.
Now, remind me again, these are the three subsets of monogamy as considered by whom? You don't cite a source for this, and I'm inclined to think you just made it up. Mostly because your first and third form of monogamy are practically one and the same. Only one mate, and the offspring coming from only one mate. As I suspected, my point about humans not being the most monogamous, even for the three subsets you just invented, still stands.
This brings us to the next point, that love is not only about sex, as previously stated. Therefore, when we discuss a non-sexual way, humans still far surpass the animal kingdom concerning experiencing love the way we do. If things were done Bible way, this wouldn't even be up for debate because there would be complete monogamy, but even Christians themselves can't seem to follow biblical principles nowadays concerning this. This is a case of it's not the race, but the select bunch within the race.
Your final point for part 1 is essentially another example in which you contradict yourself between your overarching dismissal of scientific observation of animal behavior by claiming that it is impossible to know the minds of animals, while you yourself are apparently very sure of what animals do or do not think or feel.
The next point is of animals doing anything other than procreating, finding food, and building a house. So the unstable creature decides to slip in another sarcastic remark about animals sleeping, which is so obvious I should not even have to point that out.
And here you try to slip in your favorite personal attack, referring to me as an unstable creature.
So when he finally gets to the next point, of pure instinct versus human logic, he calls it simplistic and backed by no sources. My explanation of it, that is.
Which it wasn't.
Let me clarify that it may be over the top to say they're run on pure instinct. However, animals rely on their instinct for their lives. We don't have to.
Even for your cushy, everyday life in America, your instincts still compel you to eat, sleep, procreate, seek shelter from inclement weather, and most dramatically, when placed in life-threatening situations.
Because we have advanced logic, reasoning, and morals.
Not quite. Your comfortable lifestyle, which has allowed you to live under the delusion that you have overcome your instincts, is a result of modern civilization, which came about through the application of said advanced logical reasoning and advanced morality, despite, I should add, the impediments of conservative religious dogmas such as the one you are advocating.
An example a wiki source stated was baby ducks following a pig as if it was their mother and wanting to have sex with pigs when they grew up. Which, if this example were true, it only credits my genetic video on learned sexuality.
Not necessarily, and that's even if your example is true, which you have not provided sources to substantiate.
However, instincts can be displayed in the following quote. Speculated examples of instinctual fixed action patterns can be observed in the behavior of animals which perform various activities, sometimes complex, that are believed not to be based on prior experience, such as reproduction and feeding among insects.
Somewhere in here, you're supposed to be making a case against homosexuality, yet all you're doing is describing basic knowledge about what instincts are. I already know this. Are you building to some kind of point?
Sea turtles hatched on a beach automatically move towards the ocean, and honeybees communicate by dance, the direction of a food source, all without formal instruction. This is like a human already knowing how to talk as a newborn, which is just not the case. So next...
apparently not.
He claims I fell into a trap of my own somehow by quoting, "We don't know the minds of animals," and apparently stating their minds are empty when I never said their minds were empty. I'm just giving several examples from several studies by which he obviously can't comprehend and passes it off as a contradiction. Same as the Bible arguments, which I always refute because they use this same piss-poor approach.
Okay, by saying that they are driven entirely by their instincts, Oh, wait. You've since retreated from that position. Okay, by saying that they are almost entirely driven by instincts, are you not claiming that their minds are almost empty in their incapacity to use reason and use problem-solving mechanisms? And in doing so, have you not contradicted yourself by asserting that we cannot know the minds of animals, yet you make claims as if you do?
The next point he makes is asserting the basis behind my argument is religious for the claims that I made, which God has blessed us with. When the basis of my argument is a homosexual animal won't go and mate with another animal of the opposite sex.
You misquoted me. I didn't say that this was the basis for your anti-homosexual argument. I said that you exposed the religious foundation for your attempt to make an argument, debunking any notion that your case is secular in nature.
In his point, he fails by asserting I used the Bible to justify my point, whilst I've used everything but the Bible in my case thus far.
Never mind misquoting, now you're just flat out lying. I did not say that you were using the Bible. In fact, for this point, I clearly said that you supported your claim with nothing. Yes, the Bible does mention each of these so-called gifts and says that they all come from God, but I never said that you were quoting directly from the Bible or using it. It is clear that you listed these gifts extemporaneously, which is why they are not well-ordered and chosen like one would find in an official list of the gifts of the Holy Spirit, as such as described by the Catholic Church.
Wisdom and understanding are things certainly my cats didn't possess, doing things that were bad for them and repeating anyway. You're right, only to an extent in that everyone doesn't possess these qualities, in that people possess different levels of wisdom and understanding. For example, you possess a lack of understanding in the definition of bigot, which requires intolerance, which we don't possess. We don't have to agree with someone's lifestyle and tolerate it at the same time. Look up the two definitions and learn they're different. We can tolerate it but not agree with it or accept it or embrace it with open arms.
I understand the separation between tolerance and bigotry, so I take it you're ready to tolerate homosexuals by allowing them equal rights under the law, and you will no longer oppose gay marriage, because that would be the tolerant thing to do. Tolerating their existence, and only their existence, without allowing them equal rights to what you enjoy, falls under bigotry. It is you who needs to go back and reread the definitions for these two words.
So, that being said, since you lacked knowledge on that, next is a wisecrack about having voices in your head. You know, kind of like when something tells you not to do this or that, or you have a funny feeling about something. Yeah, something like that. That would be counsel.
Oh, you just mean funny feelings. I believe the scientific term for that is instinct.
Unlike the animal kingdom, we possess a combination of all of these things, because I guarantee every knee shall bow and every tongue will confess. But Christians got the point when I brought this up. That was the whole point for me stating that, was for the Christians. You know, even though you didn't get it because you won't understand why I brought these up as a unit till you meet your Creator. So we'll just leave that alone and continue.
So, exposing your own lie about making a secular case against homosexuality was only supposed to be for the Christians. A foolishly self-serving ploy which was ultimately self-defeating.
Moving on to artificial insemination and adoption, he brings up this piss-poor example, which is not even artificial insemination, also by his own admission. Therefore, it is a failed attempt to bring my argument down.
Fair enough. I thought you'd be interested in it, but since you only want your crocoducks, I guess there's nothing I can do.
Also on adoption, I never said animals don't adopt. I asked, when do they adopt? Not nearly as much as we do. A tiny fraction, actually.
Interesting. A bold claim, yet you do not provide adoption statistics for either humans or what is observed in other animals. Again, you're failing to support your arguments with source work.